Hello, everybody. I hope you're all okay and fine. Okay. Today, I am going to talk about a comparison of relative clauses. In the previous 2 weeks, I talked about defining relative clauses and non defining relative clauses. Now, I'm going to compare them both right now, as you can see on the screen right now. Defining relative clauses, it gives necessary information about the noun it talks about. This is very important. A defining relative clause gives necessary information about the noun it defines. A non-defining relative clause gives extra information about the noun it talks about. See, that is the main difference between them. A defining relative clause gives necessary information, and undefining gives extra information about the noun it talks about. Which are these nouns? They are proper nouns like Ali, Adana, Pepeba, for example, or nouns with preceding modifiers like this, that, these, those, my, your, okay? Or the ones that refer to general concepts like petrol, like milk, for example. When I think of milk, immediately the very first thing that comes into my mind is a white substance cows produce, and which is usually very healthy and helps especially babies to grow up in a healthy way. So rice, flour, coal, they are general concepts. They don't need definitions actually, okay? In defining relative clauses, all relative pronouns and adverbs can be used in the clause, in the sentence, okay? But in the non-defining relative clause, we cannot use that as a relative pronoun, okay? And when the relative pronoun is the subject of the clause in the defining relative clause, when the relative pronoun is the subject of the sentence, it cannot be omitted from the sentence. But if it is the object, like which, whom, okay, it can be left out, okay? Also, where and whose in the relative clause cannot be omitted, okay? Um, in the non-defining relative clauses, no relative pronoun or adverb can be omitted, okay? And again, in the defining relative clauses, the relative clause is never put into commas, okay? But in the non-defining ones, the relative clause must be put into commas, okay? Let's have a look at the examples so that you can grasp the main difference in a much, much better way. It says here, for example, I know Ali, who is your close friend. Ali is a name. And when you talk about a name in English, actually in any language possible, okay, you don't have to define it. You can just give extra information about this name. And remember what I said about milk, okay? The general concept of milk. Well, somebody says she hates drinking milk, which is essential for babies to grow up. I mean, this information is put into commas, and this is not necessary. It just gives extra information, okay? But in the third example, we say, she sent me the email. She sent me the email. You will ask all the time which email, which included the meeting notes. So this relative clause gives necessary information about the noun before it. Therefore, it must be a defining one. Mind you, no comma here. She sent me the email. I had been waiting for days. Okay, remember? Well, since the email I'm talking about right now is not the subject like given here. It is not the subject but the object. We don't have to write the relative pronouns here. They're optional actually. So we can easily say she sent me the email. I had been waiting for days. It was a cold winter night. Yes, it needs definition. I proposed to my wife, or when I proposed to my wife. When we talk about a name, as I have given about Ali, it is the same one. Dr. Miller, whom you know well, will soon retire. So this just gives extra information. I know the reason why she got angry with me. You cannot just say, I know the reason and put period here. You have to tell us the reason. I know the reason she got angry with me, why she got angry with me. LM, where I used to meet my friends, got closed. Okay, it is a kind of restaurant. So it is a name, be careful, of a restaurant. So LM, where I used to meet my friends, mind you, okay, the relative clause, non-defining relative clause is put into commas. LM, where I used to meet my friends, got closed. I miss the house. Which house? Where I grew up. Important note, people, in non-defining relative clauses, okay, we sometimes use which to modify, to define a whole sentence, or to refer to a whole sentence, but not a noun, and before which we must use a comma, like shown in the examples below. Some animals are, unfortunately, tested in experiments. This is a sentence on its own. Some animals are unfortunately tested in experiments, and this is disliked by many people all around the world. Okay, instead of this or that, here I use which. Okay, here the relative pronoun which refers to the whole sentence before it. It refers to this sentence. Some animals are unfortunately tested in experiments, which is disliked by many people all around the world. The same is valid for this example too. The famous footballer was imprisoned in Mexico a week ago, which disappointed his fans a lot. This fact disappointed his fans a lot, which again refers to the whole sentence. Yamu read the paragraph very quickly, like she always does, which caused her to miss a lot of details. So it refers to the whole sentence here. Let's have a look at the exercises. Can you please fill in the blanks with an appropriate relative pronoun or adverb? Just do it, please. Of course, you need to focus on the nouns that are being defined or that are being given information, extra information about. So they determine which relative pronoun will come here. Can you please hand me the notebooks? Blah, blah, are on your desk. This morning, I saw a Honda Civic, blah, blah, was parked in my garage. I can't stand people talk incessantly without stopping. I can't stand listening to the politician on TV now. The politician on TV now. Mind you, there is a comma here. Blah, blah, despises people. Blah, blah, do not vote for him. Can you show me the guitar? Which guitar on blah, blah, back, there is my name inscribed. So here, we need to use a relative pronoun which shows possession. Remember? Tepeba, it's a name, blah, blah. There are still a lot of ancient houses being renovated, stands on a hill from blah, blah, it got its name. Does it show a kind of place? Okay, right. These shoes, well, it gives the necessary information. There is a comma. These shoes, blah, blah. My son bought in London 2 years ago, still look brand new. I sometimes look forward to going to the house. Which house? I sometimes look forward to going to the house. Which house? See, here there is a preposition, but here there's not one. I sometimes look forward to going to the house in, so you have to make a formal relative clause, remember? In the 11th, we say, I would like to see Mrs. Chailakle with blah, blah. I will exchange a few words about online education at Bashkent Adana School. I would like to see Mrs. Chailakle. There is no preposition here. I would like to see her. See, there is a comma. I will exchange a few words with about online education at Bashkent Adana schools. Okay, here you have got the key. Can you please hand me the notebooks which are on your desk? Instead of which, of course, you can use that as well. Mind you, there's no comma here. This morning, I saw a Honda Civic that was parked, which was parked in my garage. I can't stand people that talk incessantly. Who talk incessantly? I can't stand listening to the politician on TV now. It is already, the politician on TV is already defined. Who, you can just use who here, who despises people, who or that do not vote for him. Can you show me the guitar on whose back there is my name inscribed? Tepeba, it shows a place where there are still a lot of ancient houses being renovated, stands on a hill from which, formal relative clause, from which it got its name. These shoes, which my son bought in London 2 years ago, still look brand new. Only which is possible here. See the comma here. I sometimes look forward to going to the house that I grew up in, which I grew up in, okay? Or you don't have to use this either. I sometimes look forward to going to the house where I grew up, okay? There is no preposition, mind you. Instead of where, you can easily use in which to, like given here in the 10th. I would like to see Mrs. Chailakle with whom. After the preposition, if it is talking about people, here we must use whom, but not anything else. I would like to see Mrs. Chailakle with whom I will exchange a few words about online education at Bashkent Adana School. mind you, it is a formal relative clause. But you can also, use this or answer it in this way. I would like to see Mrs. Chailakle, who or whom I will exchange a few words with about online education at Bashkent Tadana schools. Okay. Let's have a look at the second exercise. Okay. Can you fill in the blanks with an appropriate relative pronoun or adverb only if it is necessary, part? That means to say, if it is not necessary, don't use any of them. Istanbul, see, non-defining, huh? So you have to use a relative pronoun or adverb here. Istanbul, blah, blah, lots of social and business activities are always organized, is the heart of our country. See? Does this refer to the whole sentence here? Just check it, and then you can answer it. April 10th, 2020, 10 p.m. is the unforgettable time. Unforgettable time. Yes, it refers to time. Turkish government made a terrible mistake by declaring a sudden curfew after. Okay, this might refer to the whole sentence here. The reason, is it necessary to put a relative pronoun or adverb here? The reason I paid her a visit last night was the fact that I was going to propose to her. I was going to propose to her. So the relative pronoun here might refer to this sentence as a whole, huh? Dolmabahce Palace was the place, yes, formal relative clause. Atatürk passed away, died, okay? I never wish to go to the countries. Which countries you never wish to go? People might look down upon me. Well, there is a preposition to the end of the relative clause just because I'm a foreigner there. I never wish to go to the countries, blah, blah. People might look down upon me in just because I'm a foreigner there. The teacher thanked only the students. Which students? Is it the subject of the relative clause? That's what I'm asking, actually. The boy on the red and white bike by the wall. Ooh, it is a heavily modified noun group, okay? If there is such a piece of information, it means that you have to put a comma here, and this must be an undefined relative clause, huh? The boy on the red and white bike by the wall, blah, blah, loves extreme sports more than anything. He is not interested in school at all. Have you ever wondered about the reason? Is it necessary to put a relative adverb here? Just think about it. And here is the key for you, okay? Istanbul, where or in which, okay? They both refer to a place, to Istanbul actually. Istanbul, where lots of social and business activities are always organized, is the heart of our country, which we must try to protect all the time, okay? This refers to the sentence given here. April 10th, 2020, 10 p.m. is the unforgettable time. Turkish government made a terrible mistake by declaring a sudden curfew, after which nobody could go out. it is a must that you have to use which here. Well, you don't have to use why or when here actually. But if you like, you can. The reason, you can use why, but it is not necessary. The reason I paid her a visit last night was the fact that I was going to propose to her, which made me feel so excited and nervous at the same time. This refers to the whole sentence, given here, actually. Dolmabahce Palace was the place in which Atatürk passed away, or instead of in which, you can just use where. I never wish to go to the countries. Yes. So you can use which here, but not necessary. People might look down upon me just because I'm a foreigner there. The teacher thanked only the students who did their homework excellently, or that did their homework excellently. The boy on the red and white bike by the wall, who loves extreme sports more than anything, is not interested in school at all. Have you ever wondered about the reason why? Well, it is up to you, optional. Your father quit smoking so suddenly for? Well, there is another set of exercises for us, okay? Can you please join the following pairs of sentences by means of an appropriate relative pronoun or adverb, putting the relative clause in commas if necessary. So, well, we need to study the two sentences given here as a pair, and then we should join the second sentence by means of a relative pronoun. And if necessary, we have to put the information into commas at the same time. So, I don't want to go to school. Do we talk about, the concept of school or a certain school that is being defined? I don't want to go to school, just school. I mean, the place where you get education, where lessons are held, okay? So, I don't want to go to school. Huh? Does it give extra information? And it shows place. I don't want to go to school, blah, blah. Teachers expect students to concentrate on their studies. Full stop. Why not? Could you please remind me of the time? Could you please remind me of the time? The time. Which time? Which time? You have to explain it, huh? You have to define it actually, rather than explaining it. I have always disliked wearing the clothes. I have always disliked wearing the clothes. Which clothes have you always disliked wearing? Could you please define it? The teacher congratulated Chala. The teacher congratulated Chala. Chala is a name like Ali, like Tepeba, like Mr. Aitar, like Adana, Istanbul, London. So the teacher congratulated Chala. Can you just give extra information about Chala? That red notebook, well, it is already defined, huh? That red notebook, Can you give extra information using this about that red notebook? Okay? And then completing the sentence, that red notebook, blah, 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 belongs to the teacher, for example. Karataş, it's a name again, like Adana, like Tepeba, like huzur evleri, okay? Karataş, blah, 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 okay, is located to the south of Adana. Possible? Please buy me some flour. some flower. When I say flower, the concept should appear in my mind. The concept that people use for making bread. So, please buy me some flour. Will this information give us extra information or necessary information? Think about it. My niece didn't invite me to her wedding. Okay? Does this refer to the whole sentence here? Key. Let's have a look at the key, people. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school where teachers expect students to concentrate on their studies. Well, we have to put a comma here because here we are talking about the general concept of school where lessons are held. Could you please remind me of the time, which time when I have to see my doctor? I have always disliked wearing the clothes. Which clothes? That are very different from my friends, or which are very different from my friends. The teacher congratulated Chala, who got the best grade in the final. That red notebook, which is on the floor, belongs to the teacher. This just gives extra information about that red notebook, which is already defined. Karataş, which used to be a fishing village, see, Karataş, which used to be a fishing village, it must be put into commas, is located to the south of Adana. Please buy me some flour. Flour, like the general concept of milk, school, okay? Please buy me some flour, which I will make bread with, or with which I will make bread. And finally, my niece didn't invite me to her wedding, comma, which disappointed me. Okay, so it gives extra information about the noun, and also it refers to the whole sentence given here. People, thanks a lot for listening to me.